Car payments today are out of control, but strangely, almost nobody acts like it. The average new car payment in the US is now around $745 a month, and used car payments are averaging $521 per month. According to Experian, that's not a minor bill, that's a second rent check or a massive grocery budget. Add interest rates on top of that, nearly 7% on new cars and close to 12% on used ones. And you're talking about financing terms that would have sounded insane just a decade ago. And yet, if you look around, the streets are packed with brand new trucks, shiny SUVs, and tech-loaded sedans. People aren't driving 10-year-old used cars until they're worn out. They're upgrading, leasing, and financing like it's nothing. I see it everywhere. One of my friends is paying nearly $900 a month for a pickup truck. Another is stuck with a payment of $800 for a Kia hybrid SUV. These aren't millionaires. They don't have huge savings accounts. They don't earn that much more than I do. Some even have kids and other responsibilities, and still they find a way to keep those cars parked in their driveway. So how is it possible? How can so many people with normal salaries carry such heavy payments without immediately collapsing? The answer is simple. It's easy to afford car payments if you define afford the wrong way. See, for most people, affordability doesn't mean I have the cash saved. It doesn't mean I weighed the long-term cost and it fits into my financial plan. For most Americans, affordability just means I can fit the monthly payment into my budget without overdrafting. That's it. That single shift in definition explains why the average person can sign up for a $700, $800, or even $900 monthly bill and walk out of the dealership smiling like they just made a smart decision, because from their perspective, they can afford it. They can slide that payment in right next to the rent, the groceries, and the streaming subscriptions. But here's the catch. They didn't get there by saving money first. In fact, the lack of savings is what put them into this situation in the first place. If you've never saved, then when it's time to buy a car, you have no choice but to borrow. No down payment, no cash cushion, just debt. And once you sign that loan contract, the monthly payment doesn't just eat up part of your income, it locks you out of ever catching up financially. Because once you're locked into $700 or $900 every month, what happens next? That car payment squeezes your budget so tightly that you no longer have any room for unexpected expenses. So when life hits, and it always does, you don't have savings to fall back on. You borrow again. And that's where the spiral begins. You borrowed for the car. Then you couldn't save for a vacation, so you borrowed for that too. Then the water heater broke, so it went on a credit card. Then the dentist bill showed up, and you financed that. Now you're juggling a car loan, 2 credit cards, maybe a personal loan, all while trying to live like everything is fine. From the outside, though, it does look fine. People see the new truck, the SUV, the family trips, the nice lifestyle. But what they don't see are the minimum payments stacking up in the background. And this is where car payments become more than just a financial number. They become a mindset trap. Because once you've trained yourself to live around monthly payments, you stop asking the right question. You stop asking, can I really afford this? And instead start asking, can I squeeze this payment in somehow? That one little mental switch keeps people trapped for years. Every new purchase just digs the hole deeper because there's never enough breathing room to save, reset, or break free. And eventually, the only way out looks like refinancing, rolling one debt into another, or trading in a car you still owe money on, just to start the cycle all over again. And guess what? When you live like this, something always goes wrong. The emergency fund never exists because the money that could have gone to savings is stuck in the driveway, losing value every single day. That's the illusion of these so-called affordable car payments. On the surface, they seem manageable, but underneath, they quietly reshape your entire financial life. They turn every decision into a payment decision, every emergency into a debt decision, every paycheck into a juggling act. And the scariest part, people don't even see it happening. They've redefined normal so that a $900 truck payment doesn't even sound crazy anymore. So why do so many people end up thinking car payments are affordable? Because the entire system, from banks to dealerships to advertising, has been designed to make it feel that way. Let's start with the monthly payment mindset. Walk into a dealership and notice how quickly the conversation shifts. The salesman doesn't ask, "What's your budget for a car?" He asks, "What kind of monthly payment are you comfortable with?" That one trick changes everything. Suddenly you're not thinking about the full price of the vehicle. You're thinking about how you can stretch your paycheck to fit another bill. And this is where people convince themselves it's manageable. Because if the payment is $700 or $800, it feels doable, especially if the salesperson shows you how you can stretch the loan to 72 or even 84 months. That's 6 to 7 years. Think about that. You're committing to pay nearly a mortgage-sized bill for a car that will lose thousands in value the moment you drive it off the lot. It's not just the length of the loan. It's the illusion of approval. The bank approves you for $40,000, $50,000, or even more. So you think, if I got approved, then I can afford it. But here's the catch. The bank doesn't care if the loan destroys your budget. Their only question is, will this person likely keep making payments long enough for us to make money? That's it. Your financial goals, your savings plan, your emergency fund, none of that matters in their equation. And dealerships know this. They'll push you into cars that eat up 20% or more of your monthly income because they know most buyers aren't calculating long-term costs. They're thinking about the short term. Can I drive this car home today without going negative in my bank account? Now here's another layer, the status factor. Cars have become one of the biggest status symbols in modern life, and social media makes it worse. A shiny new SUV in your driveway, a luxury badge on your hood, or even just a well-optioned crossover feels like a signal to the world that you're doing well. But what you don't see are the credit card bills, the personal loans, and the stress behind that image. You can't compare lifestyles without comparing the payments behind them. That person in the luxury SUV might be living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, and constantly stressed about money. But because we only see the exterior, the Instagram photos, the vacations, the cars, it creates pressure to keep up, and keeping up is expensive. And this is the punchline. Cars today aren't even luxury items anymore. The average new car price in the US is creeping toward $42,000. That means even your normal family sedan or small SUV is carrying a price tag that used to belong to luxury vehicles, a half-ton pickup truck. That's starting at $50,000. Finance that at today's average rates, and you're easily looking at $850 a month before insurance, gas, or maintenance. That's mortgage money for something guaranteed to lose value every single day. Now, people justify it by saying things like, "I'll keep it for years," or "I need the reliability," or even "it's an investment in my lifestyle." But here's the truth. The car is not an investment. The car is a liability. The only investment happening is from the bank and the dealership in you. They're banking on your willingness to trade long-term freedom for the short-term thrill of driving something new. And when you break it down even further, it gets uglier. Let's say someone is spending $1,000 a month on their car between payments, insurance, and upkeep. According to AAA, the average American drives about 1 hour per day. That's 30 hours a month. Divide $1,000 by 30, and you're effectively paying over $30 per hour just to sit in your own car. For many people, that's more than they actually earn at work. And yet, it doesn't feel that way because it's been sliced neatly into monthly payments that fit into the budget. This is why car payments feel affordable. They're not presented as total cost. They're presented as manageable pieces. And because everyone around you is doing the same thing, friends, coworkers, family, it starts to feel normal. Normal to owe $40,000 on something losing value. Normal to spend more on a car payment than you do on savings. Normal to always have debt in the driveway. But here's the truth. Just because it's normal doesn't mean it's wise. Just because you can finance it doesn't mean you can afford it. Real affordability isn't about whether you can make a payment today. It's about whether your choices leave you space tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's easy isn't affording the car. It's slipping into the trap. And the real flex isn't the shiny new car. It's financial freedom. It's building wealth quietly while everyone else is financing a lifestyle. Real wealth doesn't need a car payment. Here's what almost nobody talks about when it comes to car payments. They don't just cost money, they cost years of your life. Let's break it down. The average person works about 160 hours per month. If your car expenses add up to $1,000 per month, that's not just dollars leaving your account. It's time leaving your life. At a $20 per hour job, you're giving away 50 hours every month just to cover the car parked in your driveway. That's 1.5 weeks of full-time labor every single month for something that's losing value every single day. Now expand that over the life of the loan. At 72 months, a standard 6-year loan, you'll pay $1,000 times 72 equals $72,000. Total out of pocket. At $20 an hour, that's 3,600 hours of work. Think about what 3,600 hours means. That's almost 2 full years of your working life spent not building wealth, not buying freedom, not investing in opportunities, but just keeping up with a single car payment. And here's the kicker. At the end of those 6 years, the car isn't worth anywhere near what you paid. That $40,000 vehicle might be worth $15,000, maybe $20,000. If you're lucky, you didn't just trade money, you traded time and got back something that is guaranteed to lose value. Now here's the part that stings. What if you flip the script? Let's imagine you bought a modest used car for cash and kept your total monthly car costs, insurance, gas, and maintenance at $300 instead of $1,000. That frees up $700 a month. If you invested that difference at a modest 7% return, here's what happens. In 6 years, that extra $700 a month grows to $65,000 to $75,000. Keep it going for 12 years and you're looking at nearly $200,000. Push it to 18 years and you're easily crossing $400,000. That's the power of opportunity cost. The same $700 people casually sign away to a bank could have been building wealth quietly in the background, money that changes your life. Instead, most people convince themselves that the car is affordable. Why? Because the math has been sliced into monthly chunks that feel smaller than they really are. $680 a month doesn't feel like $72,000, but that's what it is. And this is where the trap deepens. Car payments don't just drain your wallet, they drain your flexibility. Once you've committed to $700 to $900 a month for a car, you're locked in. You can't take a lower paying job with more freedom. You can't cut your hours. You can't take a risk starting a business. That monthly bill chains you to your paycheck. In other words, you didn't just finance a car. You financed away your options. And the system is designed to make you comfortable with that chain. Dealerships don't ask you, how much car can you actually afford? They ask, what monthly payment feels comfortable? Banks don't ask, will this loan destroy your savings goals? They ask, will this person make payments long enough for us to profit? That's why the trap feels so normal. Everyone around you is living the same way. Friends and family have 600, 700, 800 payments. Social media is full of people showing off their new SUVs, trucks, or luxury badges. What you don't see are the credit card balances, the stress, the juggling of bills behind the scenes. It creates a powerful illusion. If everyone else is doing it, it must be affordable. But affordability isn't about whether you can make it through this month without overdrafting. Real affordability is about whether your choices today free up your future or trap you in it. And here's the ugly truth. When you spend years financing cars, you don't just lose money, you lose the chance to build real wealth because the math works both ways. Let's take that same $800 people spend on a car over 6 years invested instead of financed. It becomes about $75,000. Over 12 years, $200,000. Stretch it to 30 years and you're looking at over $1 million. So let's reframe the question. Is that shiny truck in the driveway really worth $1 million trade-off? Because that's the decision most people are making without realizing it. And that's why it feels easy to afford these car payments, because the cost is disguised, because the trade-off is hidden, because the math has been shrunk into neat monthly slices that feel harmless, even though they represent years of your life, thousands of hours of work, and hundreds of thousands in lost wealth. It's not just a car payment, it's a wealth transfer from you to the bank, from your future to the dealership, from your freedom to the system designed to keep you stuck. And the scariest part, people don't even question it anymore. A $900 car payment doesn't even sound crazy. It sounds normal. And that's the biggest trap of all. If this breakdown opened your eyes, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people see it. Drop a comment below and let me know. Subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.